The world watched in anticipation as white smoke rose from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel. A new pope had been chosen. Millions waited to see who would emerge on the balcony, ready to lead the Catholic Church into a new era. The crowd in St. Peter's Square fell silent as the announcement was made. Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle of the Philippines had been elected as the new pope. This was a historic moment. Pope Tagle became the first Asian pope, marking a major shift in the Catholic Church's leadership. His election symbolized the growing influence of the global South and reflected the diversity of the Church. Known for his humility and deep spirituality, Pope Tagle was seen as a leader who truly understood the needs of the people. He smiled warmly as he stepped forward, his presence radiating hope and reassurance. From the very start of his papacy, Pope Tagle made it clear that he was not afraid to make bold decisions. His first act as pope was unexpected and groundbreaking. Standing before the world, he declared that he would open the Vatican archives. This announcement sent shockwaves throughout the Church and beyond. For centuries was deeply engaged in these. The Vatican archives had been kept secret, accessible only to a select few. These archives contained documents covering significant periods of Church history. Many believed they held answers to long-debated questions. Pope Tagle's decision to open these archives was not just a symbolic gesture. It was an act of radical transparency, a commitment to truth and accountability. The crowd gasped as his words echoed through St. Peter's Square. Journalists scrambled to report the news, and social media platforms erupted with reactions. Some praised the decision, calling it a courageous step towards openness. Others were apprehensive, wondering what secrets the archives might reveal. Inside the Vatican, reactions were mixed. Some cardinals and bishops supported Pope Tagle's move, seeing it as a necessary step towards reform. They believed that the Church needed to face its past honestly to rebuild trust. However, others were more hesitant. They feared that certain revelations could damage the Church's reputation. Whispered conversations filled the halls of the Vatican, reflecting both excitement and unease. Scholars and historians, on the other hand, welcomed the decision with enthusiasm. For years, they had been eager to examine these hidden documents. They believed the archives could provide valuable insights into the Church's history, shedding light on both its triumphs and its failures. Many hoped that by studying the past, the Church could learn valuable lessons for the future. As news of the Pope's decision spread, discussions erupted worldwide. People debated what the archives might contain. Some believed they could reveal hidden truths about historical events. Others speculated that they might contain records of past misconduct that had been covered up. The Catholic community conversations, with many seeing this as a turning point for the Church. Opening the archives was a step towards healing. For years, victims of abuse had called for greater transparency. They wanted the Church to acknowledge past wrongs and ensure justice. The archives could hold documents related to past cases, potentially bringing closure to victims and their families. By making these records available, Pope Tagle demonstrated that the Church was willing to face its mistakes and seek accountability. Transparency was not just about revealing wrongdoing, it was also about building trust. For too long, secrecy had fueled suspicion and doubt. Many people had lost faith in the Church's leadership. Pope Tagle's decision sent a powerful message. The Church was ready to embrace honesty and integrity. This was not about dwelling on past failures, but about moving forward with a renewed commitment to truth. The long-term implications of this decision remained uncertain. Would the Church be able to handle the revelations that might come from the archives? How would it respond to potential controversies? These were questions that could only be answered with time. However, one thing was clear. The Catholic Church was entering a new era, one that valued openness and accountability. Some experts suggested that opening the archives could lead to a reassessment of Church doctrine. Historical documents might provide new interpretations of religious teachings. This could spark theological discussions and debates. Some feared that certain discoveries might challenge long-held beliefs. Others saw this as an opportunity for growth and deeper understanding. The decision also had implications beyond the Church. The Vatican had played a significant role in global history. The archives could contain valuable information about political and social events. Historians and researchers from various fields eagerly awaited the chance to study these documents. This could foster a better understanding of the Church's impact on world history. As the world processed the news, the Catholic community faced a mixture of emotions. Some were hopeful, believing that this was a step in the right direction. They saw Pope Tagle as a leader who truly cared about justice and truth. Others remained skeptical, worried about how the Church would handle any difficult revelations. Pope Tagle understood the challenges ahead. He knew that transparency came with risks. However, he believed that facing the truth was the only way forward. He was willing to take this risk for the sake of the Church's future. His decision was not just about the present. It was about shaping the legacy of the Church for generations to come. The road ahead would not be easy. The Church had to navigate these challenges carefully. It had to balance transparency with the need to protect individuals' privacy. It had to be prepared for the possibility that some truths might be painful. But Pope Tagle was determined. He had set a course for a new kind of leadership, one that valued honesty and courage. His place in history was already being shaped by this bold move. He would be remembered as the Pope who dared to confront the past. He had challenged the Church to be better, to be more accountable, and to build a future based on truth. His decision had sparked conversations that would continue for years to come. Only time would tell what the archives would reveal. Only time would tell how the Church would respond. But one thing was certain. Pope Tagle had made a decision that would change everything. He had taken a step that would define his papacy and influence the future of the Catholic Church. This was the beginning of a new chapter, one that embraced truth, healing, and transformation.